Assalamu alaikum. My name is Abdul Moiz, and today I'm going to introduce you to the MDCAT section of our app TSL or Think Study Learn. TSL includes video lectures, lecture notes, practice questions of every chapter, including the new MDCAT 2025 syllabus by PMDC. It includes an AI chatbot, a built-in integrated AI chatbot, and also a voice-to-voice feature with which you can ask a question in your own voice in any language, and it will respond to your questions. Today, I'm going to give you a glimpse of how our past paper solution videos look like. We have past papers, we have practice papers of both MDCAT and NUMS. So you have ample papers to practice your knowledge before you eventually go on to the live exam. So I'll give you a brief overview of this, and here I will explain first of all the thing that I'm going to do today is 20 questions, and I have distributed them uh, just like the 2025 MDCAT syllabus. So 45% for biology, 25% for chemistry, 20% for physics and rest, 5% and 5%. So it is 45 plus 25 is 70, 70 plus 20 is 90, 90 plus 5 and 5 plus 5. We have the whole MDCAT paper but scaled down to 20 MCQs so that I can give you an idea of how the videos in our app look like. So the first question is from biology. Which of the following is purine? So basically guanine, cytosine, thymine and uracil. Out of these, guanine is the only one that is a purine found in both. It is basically found in DNA and RNA. So it is the purine out of these four. Moving on to the next question. Enzyme components. It's a question about enzyme components. If the cofactor is covalently or tightly and permanently bonded to the enzyme, then it will be called. So basically, if you have an enzyme and you have a cofactor that is permanently or tightly bonded to it, it is called a prosthetic group. So here we have a prosthetic group. So B is the correct answer. Moving on to the next question. This is about enzyme pH. So optimum pH value for the working of pancreatic lipase is, so we have 2, 4.5, 5 and 7.6. So basically pancreatic lipase, it is slightly alkaline and the value would be 7.6. So this is the answer. This is the only slightly alkaline value here, 7.6. Moving on to the next question. The view that the active site of an enzyme is flexible and when a substrate combines with it, it causes changes in enzyme structure is known as. So basically, as you can see, the statement somehow explains it as well. The words flexible and when a substrate combines with it, it causes changes. If you look at the options, lock and key model, which is what you have studied since your 6th, 7th grade, we know it. However, the induced fit model, the word also suggests induced fit, induced. So the induced fit model is the correct one, and this is the model in which states, the induced fit model states that the active site of the enzyme and the substrate, they combine but they slightly interact. So which means that they have slight changes. So they do some changes to fit with each other. So that is the theory, a model that suggests that it happens, and it happens in reality. So, and it is called the induced fit model. So the statement is directly linked to induced fit model. So B is the correct answer. Now we have question number 5. All coenzymes are derived from. So basically, this is something you have to memorize. But all coenzymes are basically derived from vitamins. It will be in the options: proteins, nucleic acids, carbohydrates, vitamins. So D is the correct option, vitamins. Moving on to the next question. Question number 6, reverse transcription. So reverse transcription is used to make DNA copies of A. host RNA, B. viral RNA, C. host DNA, and D. viral DNA. So basically, reverse transcription is basically done by an enzyme called reverse transcriptase, and what it basically does is it makes DNA copies of RNA. So it's basically done by viral RNA of viruses basically. So it has to be B, viral RNA. Moving on to the next question. Antibiotics. Antibiotics are produced by fungi and certain bacteria of group. So we have their group names, actinomycetes. So it's that. So basically, this is a group of bacteria that includes like famous. It's a famous family of bacteriums. Forgive me, the correct word is bacteria. It is a family of bacteria that includes a lot of bacteria that produce the mainstream antibiotics that we use today. Penicillium is obviously fungi, but it's kind of old now, and the modern medicinal use of the modern antibiotics, it's mostly done by these by the antibiotics produced by these bacteria. So it's a bacteria family, and this is the one that is used for antibiotic production. Moving on to the next question. So, which statement about bacteria is true? Gram-positive bacteria have more lipids in their cell wall. Gram-negative bacteria have more lipids in their cell wall. So basically, I think the answer is pretty clear from the first two options. Gram-positive and gram-negative, basically, they tell us about the composition of the cell wall of the bacteria. So gram-negative here is basically when you have more lipids in the cell wall. So which statement about bacteria is true? So it is basically B. Gram positive do not have that. So it has to be gram negative bacteria that have more lipids in their cell wall. So the correct answer is B, and we will move to the next question. Question number 9. Fungi which cause thrush in humans is. So thrush is basically caused by a fungi. It's called Candidiasis. Its option is B, and this is something you have to memorize. It's pretty common, so it's sometimes mentioned in non-medical uses as well. It's very common when you are described thrush. Doctors describe it, or common literature describes it. It usually mentions that it is caused by the fungus Candidiasis. Moving on to the next question. Question number 10, and this is from chemistry. In comparison with oxygen gas, a strong triple bond, so it's about a triple bond, is present between two nitrogen atoms in a molecule. Therefore, nitrogen gas is. So we have N2, and it is basically like this. So it has three triple bond. It has three bonds, a triple bond, and therefore nitrogen gas is. So it says highly reactive. Of course, nitrogen is not that reactive. We have nitrogen in air. It is 78% of air, but we breathe it in and we breathe it out. And it's not used by like living organisms. It's not involved in a lot of chemical reactions. It is involved in some chemical reactions. It can be, but it's a very less reactive gas. So out of these options, it is not highly reactive. However, it is also not completely inert like noble gases. It's not like as inert as neon or xenon. So B would also be incorrect. It's not a moderately reactive gas. It's actually not reactive. So it is very less reactive. So D is the most appropriate option, and D would be the answer. Moving on to the next question. Question number 11, and this is about Haber's process. The catalyst used in the Haber's process is. So basically, the Haber's process is a process that makes ammonia, or NH3. You'd probably know this. And the catalyst is iron crystals with metal oxide promoters. It it is pretty. This is something you have to memorize, and it is, and these metal oxide promoters are usually vanadium or chromium oxides. You don't have to remember that exactly, but the iron crystals is the main one, so you be sure to memorize it. It is used, or iron fine particles. It could be either in the exam. So iron crystals with metal oxide promoters is the correct option for catalysts used in the ABS process. So D is the correct option. Moving on to the next question. Question number 12. What is the oxidation of iron in Fe2SO4 3, and what type of solution is formed when Fe2SO4 3 is dissolved in water? So it is Fe2SO4 3. So first of all, they have all these options, and the first column tells us the oxidation state, and the second column tells us the acidity. It's whether it's acidic or basic or neutral. So we can look at the formula here, and by looking at it, we can see that its oxidation state has to be Fe3 plus. This 3 will make it Fe3 plus, and so only these two qualify to be judged on the second condition, which is its nature. So the nature has to be when Fe3 plus, sorry, when Fe3 plus dissolves in water, it releases H plus, which basically means that it makes the solution acidic. So it has to be A, oxidation state plus 3, and acidic solution. So A is the correct option. Moving on to the next question. Question number 13. The introduction of an alkyl group in Fiedel-Crafts alkylation of benzene takes place in the presence of AlCl3 and. So basically, AlCl3 in the Fiedel-Crafts reaction is basically, it's a Lewis acid, and along with a Lewis acid catalyst like AlCl3, we need an alkyl halide, and an alkyl halide here would be RCl. So this is an alkyl halide, and it is used in the Fiedel-Crafts reaction. So B is the correct option. Moving on to the next question. What is the product of oxidation of ethanol with acidified Na2Cr2O7? So basically this is sodium dichromate, and ethanol, which is CH3CH2OH, is a primary alcohol, and which means 1 degree. And when it is oxidized with acidified sodium dichromate, it basically undergoes two stages of oxidation. First, it becomes ethanol, which is an aldehyde, and then it becomes ethanoic acid. So it has to be B, ethanoic acid. Moving on to the next question. Question number 15. Name the quantity which can be measured by using the base unit kilograms meter square over second square. So the key to solving these kind of questions, the basic base unit questions, is to write it down. So we'll write it like this: kilograms meter square, and we'll move the second square to the numerator, so it would be second minus 2. This is what we don't know. However, the base quantity that you should know, and you definitely know if you're preparing for MDCAT, is of force, which is kilograms meters per second square. So if we compare these two, we can see, and only one more meter is multiplied by it. So what do you multiply by force to get? So if we have force and we multiply it with 1 meter, which is length, don't we get the formula for work? Work is equal to force into distance. So it is kg meters per second square into meter, which will make it, it's like this: kg meter square second minus 2, It is exactly what we are looking for, so it has to be work. Option D. Moving on to the next question. Question number 16. Due to some mechanical fault, a lift falls freely from the top of a multi-story building. Which of the following is the apparent weight of a man inside the lift? If the mass of the man is 80 kg, while the value of g is 10 meters per second square. First of all, I think this question is a trick question, because when we are dealing with questions of apparent weight, we should always know it is about a lift going up or going down, but not like free fall. Free fall is a separate kind of flight where the apparent weight is zero. In free fall, you don't experience any gravity, so it is the gravity or the apparent weight or the weight has to be zero. In free fall, if you God forbid fall down a tower, you will not experience gravity for some time until you fall, until you hit the ground. So it has to be B, which is zero. Moving on to the next question. Question number 17. Stokes' law is given as. So basically, Stokes' law is about viscosity. It is basically a law which gives us an equation which is F is equal to 6 pi n RV. And in this is the viscosity, and R is the radius, V is the velocity, and 6 pi. So this is the formula that you have to remember, and among the options we can say it is in B. So B is the correct option. Moving on to the next question. Question number 18. The minimum distance from the eye at which an object can be seen clearly without strain is called. So this is something from optics, and you have to remember that the minimum distance of an object, if it comes close to your eye and which you can see without like strain and without it blurring, is called a near point. So it has to be B, near point, and you have to remember this. Moving on to the next question, and it is from English grammar. So it says, choose the correct one. Shelley is considered to be an idealist poet. So this is wrong, obviously, because it says consider. It should not be considered. It should be Shelley is considered to be an idealist poet. So B is Shelley is considers, which is also wrong, and C is Shelley is considering to be an idealist poet, which might seem correct to you, but it is actually not, because we are describing Shelley here. All these options describe Shelley here. So he is considered to be an idealist poet. That is what is describing him. So it would be D. Shelley is considered to be an idealist poet. So D is the correct option. Moving on to the last question. It is from the logical reasoning section. Suppose in a certain language, Madras, by the way, Madras is a city in India, is coded as NBESBT. Then Bombay is coded in that language as. So Bombay, another city of India. So if you look at these two, we can see M became N here, M became N, A became B. So basically they are shifting one position. So it is basically one position shifting to the right. So M becomes N, A becomes B, D becomes E, R becomes S, A becomes B, and S becomes T. So we have to apply the same formula to Bombay. So Bombay would be B would become C, O would become MNOP. So it would be CP. M would become N, so CPN. B would become again C. Then we have A, the second last letter in Bombay, which would become +1, so it is P. It's P. And then we have Y, so X, Y, Z, so it has to be Z. So it is CPN CBZ, which is the C option, CPN CBZ. So Z is the correct option. Now we have completed a mini version or a shortened version with the correct proportions of the subject MCQs of MDCAT paper. Now this mini version of the paper is complete. I've made sure to cover almost every section and give you an idea of how our app our app's features are. So please do visit our website and install our app. Our website is www.thinkstudylearn.com and our app's name is Think Study Learn, and you can find it on Play Store and App Store. It has everything that you will need in your MDCAT journey. It has video lectures for every topic, including the 2025 PMDC syllabus. It has resources for both NUMS and MDCAT. It has lecture notes, it has past papers, it has practice questions. It has a built-in integrated AI tutor to cater to all your needs. It has a voice-to-voice feature. It has a WhatsApp feature to ask us. We'll provide you everything that you will need in your MDCAT journey to succeed and become a doctor. Allah Hafiz. Good luck.